Okay, time for a new video. Welcome back to my channel, or hello if you're new. This is yet another Eurovision 2025 related video here on my channel, and another installment in my sporadic series titled What We Know So Far, where I go through pretty much everything we as Eurovision fans know so far about the upcoming edition of the ESC, which, as we all know, will take place this May in Basel, Switzerland. As always, you're welcome to let me know your thoughts on anything I discuss in today's video by leaving a comment down below, and as always, there are links in the description to my other social media pages. Check them out if you so wish. This is the second video I am filming for my channel on my brand new machine, which arrived a few days ago. This is the way things are going to be moving forwards. I want to thank all of you once again for your continued support and kindness and patience with this process. The computer will be moved slightly further back on my desk fairly soon, but everything you see, the sound quality as well, hopefully it is more than sufficient enough for you for the foreseeable future. So let's get straight into this because I would like to be more concise with my videos moving forwards. Eurovision 2025, as we know, will take place this May on Tuesday the 13th, Thursday the 15th, and Saturday the 17th of that month. We know it's going to be in Basel at the St. Jakobshalle. We know that 38 countries are involved, including Montenegro, who are back for the first time since 2022. The semi-final allocation draw, which I assume once again will be streamed on the ESC official YouTube channel, will take place on January the 28th. The 32 semi-finalists, as it says here, will be divided over a number of pots based on historical voting patterns, with the purpose of reducing the chance of block voting and increasing suspense in the semi-finals. The draw will also determine which semi-final each of the 6 automatic qualifiers will vote in, be required to broadcast, and perform its entry in a non-competitive capacity. So let's go through the participants in alphabetical order, beginning with Albania. FIC took place just before Christmas, as it usually does, and the winner of the event was the male-female duo Skodra Elektronika with the song Germ. They've been together since 2019. They've released one EP and several singles. This is definitely a very intriguing track. Albania trying to do something different at Eurovision this year, taking a little bit of a risk. We'll soon know if that pays off or not. A lot of Eurovision fans, when they saw the lineup for FIC, perhaps thought that it was going to be a foregone conclusion because we saw Elvana Jatta's name crop up. She is such a huge star, perhaps the biggest female musician from Albania these days. And her song Carnaval, my favourite, very lively. A lot of people saying that it resembles a World Cup anthem, that sort of thing. And she definitely seemed to be the one to beat. But when Fix started, it's almost as though the momentum shifted in favour of the act who went on to win. Taking a look at the results, Shkodra Elektronika won with 143 points, Elvana was second with 135, and Alice Kalachi was third on 59 points. So it really was a two-horse race. Unlike in previous editions of FIC, this time around it really was a case of the winner takes it all. We had a jury vote, and then we had 2 sections to the public vote, the online half and the SMS half. And the only part of the voting that Elvana won was the online vote. And if I remember correctly, it wasn't just Albanians who could vote there, it was anybody, any part of the diaspora. So it's interesting that she won that, but not the jury vote or the SMS vote. Fairly close in the end, but what's done is done. It'll be interesting to see if viewers, and let's not forget, the vast majority of viewers of Eurovision in May are people who haven't heard the songs before. We know the Albanian track. We've heard it many times. We'll hear it many more times moving forwards. But a lot of viewers in May, that 3 minutes is the absolute first time they'll have heard it. So will they respond to it? We'll just have to wait and see. Part of me feels as though Carnaval would have been, perhaps, yes, a more basic entry, but maybe a more competitive track. Sometimes viewers really like fairly accessible, basic pop. We saw it with Unicorn in Israel in Liverpool a few years ago. We saw it with Chanel for Spain and Slow Mo in Turin a few years ago. Sometimes, not always, but sometimes, what we might consider fairly unoriginal and basic can do the business. Look at Cyprus last year. They did a lot better than I think a lot of Eurovision fans first thought. Anyway, I'm going off point. Let's move on to Armenia. We don't really know anything just yet, but there will be a national final. And I believe Athena Manoukian, who would have represented her country in 2020 had the contest gone ahead, I've heard a little bit of a rumour, I've seen a little bit of a rumour that she could be involved. We'll wait and see. As for Australia, it's going to be an internal selection. We don't really know much more than that. Austria, the same deal. We don't really know anything just yet. I did read something a long time ago suggesting that there is a very small shortlist that's been drawn up by the broadcaster, several names involved. Whether there was any truth to that or not, I don't know. As for Azerbaijan, we will be finding out the artist and song before March. Every Eurovision fan knows that Azerbaijan usually leave it until the last minute to reveal any details about their plans moving forwards, but it seems as though this time around they want to get things done a little bit earlier in the Eurovision season. As for Belgium, we know the lineup of Eurosong 2025. Let me just load this up here. It all gets going fairly soon. February the 1st is the date for the big final, but there are going to be two non-competitive showcase shows. They've already been filmed and they're going to air on Belgian television on January the 18th and the 25th. It says here both shows will feature the 8 artists presenting their candidate Eurovision song without any staging. The final will be on February the 1st and the winner will be chosen by an expert jury and public televoting. I'm not going to go through the lineup because I'm sure I've done that in a previous video, but I'm very excited for Jelle van Dale and Mentissa. Just for the record, Mentissa, who is 25, has released one album, several singles, but she does have quite a few followers on Spotify, to say the least. I'm pretty sure it's around 1 million. And she's also been a coach on Belgium's version of The Voice. So I would say she's a fairly recognizable figure, and who knows, she could be the one to beat. I believe, I'm not sure whether it's still the case as I talk to you now, but certainly fairly recently, Belgium were top of the betting odds to win this year's competition. So maybe somebody knows something about the quality we're going to get. Anyway, that all gets going fairly soon. As for Croatia, the final of Dora is on March the 2nd, but there are 2 semi-finals in the days just before that. The lineup was announced very recently. All of the songs are out now as well. The act to beat might well be Magazine, who are such a big band. They've been around a long time. They've also been at Eurovision as well for Croatia back in the mid-90s. Their song Ah is not too bad at all. It's definitely one that I need to listen to again. I also didn't mind, let me get my post-it note here, Ananda. Her song is called Lies Lay Cold, and I also didn't mind Ivan's song Monopole, which has a slightly more rock edge to it. We've also got Marco Boschniak with Poison Cake. He was the runner-up in Dora a few years ago. A lot of people seem to be enjoying his track, although I'm not sure it's really my cup of tea. I don't know. We've also got Ogenj with Die Die. I think a lot of Croatian people are going to get behind that one. Nipple People with Snack. That sounds quite interesting as well. I wouldn't say it's an exceptionally strong group of songs, but there's definitely a few that could do the business at Eurovision. Of course, we'll just have to wait and see what things are like in Dora, and that gets going on February the 27th. As for Cyprus, we've known for the longest time that it's going to be Theo Evan, who's 23, from Nicosia. He's released a whole bunch of singles inspired by Michael Jackson, Stromae, and reggaeton music. I'm sure we'll be getting more news from Cyprus in due course. As for Czechia, they internally announced Adonis, full name Adam Pavlovchin. He's from Slovakia, 29. He was announced as the Czech artist before the end of 2024. He is a bit of an activist, no doubt about that. He's performed at pride parades. He's won an award for his LGBTQ plus activism. He's also been a model. He's also done some dancing. He's also done some acting. He's a bit of a jack of all trades. And it says here that his genres range from dark ambient, avant pop, and neo folk. So who the hell knows what we're going to get from him when his song is released in due course. 3 albums, several singles, and I have a feeling it could be something very impressive indeed. We'll wait and see. As for Denmark, the 1st of March for the final of DMGP, we know that a former Eurovision act will be involved in the lineup, and the rumours are it's going to be Tim Shu, the lead singer of A Friend in London. They represented Denmark in 2011 in Dusseldorf. Of course, Denmark haven't appeared in a Eurovision final this decade, so the pressure is on really to see if they can deliver the goods. As for Estonia, February the 15th for Eesti Laul. It's just the one show this time around. The songs have been out for ages. The one to beat, no doubt about it, is Tommy Cash. Such a big star. His song is called Espresso Macchiato. I think it's my 5th or 6th favourite of this selection. We also have the likes of former Estonian representative over 20 years ago now, Anna-Lena with Love Me Low. We have Ant with Tomorrow Never Comes. He won Eesti Otsib Superstari fairly recently, which is the equivalent of Estonian Idol. So he's definitely somebody whose face is fairly familiar in Estonia, I would say. We also have Stereo Terror. We have Gem 98. We have Anne Marlen. My favourite, though, is Minimal Wind. They really came out of nowhere a couple of years ago with What to Make of This and finished second, really against all the odds in Estilal. I'm thrilled they're back. Their song is called Armageddon. It really is fantastic, but I don't think Estonia will pick it. On January the 6th, we have the results of the online wildcard, and quite surprisingly, Tansin Veil by Marta Lotta came out on top. I thought it was going to be the Horror Dance Squad or Cecilia, but they finished 3rd and 4th, respectively. As for the final, do we have a jury vote in that? I'm sure there will be. A jury and public vote and a super final as well. February the 15th is the date for that selection. Moving on to Finland. Well, the final of UMK, which is definitely one of the strongest and most popular national selections on the continent now, is going to take place on February the 8th. We know the lineup. 2 of the songs are out. The others will be out over the coming days. We have Erika Wickman. She's back with Ik Komme, which I think is probably going to be a rather jaunty and somewhat camp entry. We also have Goldilocks with the song Made Of, and we also have a metal group in the form of One Morning Left with their song Puppy. However, the 2 songs that are out as I talk to you now are Nightmares by Nia River, which is pretty good, and Hitamin Hautan by Nelly Matula, which is also pretty good. So Finland definitely look like they mean business once again this year. A panel of experts selected these tracks, of which there are 7, and they selected them from 485 received submissions, which is a record for Finland at Eurovision under this format. As for France, it is an internal selection. We don't really know much else. As for Georgia, I think that's going to be an internal selection, but once again, we don't really know anything else. As for Germany, their national selection gets going fairly soon. It's going to be quite a long-winded process. It's called Chefsache ESC 2025 Wer singt für Deutschland? The heats are on February the 14th and 15th, the semi-finals on February the 22nd, and the final is on March the 1st. It says here that in each of the 2 heats, 12 of the 24 acts will compete. A maximum of 14 acts will be selected to proceed to the semi-final, where 9 acts will be selected to proceed to the final. The results of the heats and the semi-final shows will be determined by an expert jury, including Stefan Raab, former host, been very much involved with Eurovision over the years for Germany. The results in the final will be determined entirely by public voting, God help us. There was a submission period last November. Just under 3,300 applications were received, and we should be finding out more details about the participants in due course. As for Greece, for the first time in a very long time, they are having a national final. Just the one show on January the 30th, so it's coming up soon. Ethnikos Telikos is the name of it. The songs are now out. The favourite surely has to be Evangelia, full name Evangelia Sarakis, who was actually born in New Jersey in the US. She's been linked with representing Greece at Eurovision for many years now. Her song is called Vale. It is a little bit similar to Carnaval by Elvana Jata, which was in the Albanian selection I mentioned earlier. But she does have some tough competition. Asteromata by Clavdia, the girl with the glasses. That's a really fine effort. And we also have Play It by Zanova Zan, which does have a bit of a Scandinavian songwriting team behind it. We also have the likes of Ricky, uh, Dynamis, and Barbs as well. But I think it's probably going to be a two-horse race between Evangelia, apologies for my pronunciation, and Clavdia. And it's nice that Greece are having a national final again, although I really didn't think they'd ever go back to one. Anyway, as for Iceland, we are finding out details fairly soon. I can't seem to find them in front of me at the moment, but very soon we are going to find out the participants and the songs involved in Songförkeppnin 2025. This time around, there is no wild card. I believe each heat has 5 songs in it, and 3 will progress from each show. And then in the final, there's not going to be a super final. There is going to be an international jury vote. I believe that's the first time Iceland are using that. And there is going to be a public vote as well. So, like with Albania, it really is a case of the winner takes it all. And I don't know if Bashar will be back. I imagine he will be. I believe he's been linked with trying again to represent Iceland. We'll just wait and see. As for Ireland, February the 7th for the final of the Irish selection, which will once again be part of the Late Late Show. I logged into Twitter fairly recently, and there in front of me was a list of supposedly leaked names, so I scrolled right past it. But surely we will be finding out more from Ireland very soon indeed. Can't remember if I said about Iceland, but the final of their selection is on February the 22nd. As for Israel, January the 22nd is when we will find out their representative. It will be the winner of the music competition Hakop Haba. Looking at the artists who are left, this has been going on since November the 10th. Um, I mean, I don't really know anything about these artists. I think they're all very much newcomers. They're performing cover songs left, right, and centre. But the final's on January the 22nd, and the song will be revealed in March. As for Italy, we know the lineup of Sanremo. We've known it for a while. The song titles are also now out. The final will be on February the 15th. Sanremo, of course, is not really a national final, but it sort of is at the same time. February the 11th to February the 15th at the Teatro Ariston. The lineup is very, very strong. There was also the Sanremo Giovanni part of the process, which has concluded now. We have the likes of Elodie, Francesca Michelin, Francesco Gabbani, Georgia, The Colours, Noemi, Ollie, Rose Villain, former winner Simone Cristici, Willie Peyote. We have Fedez, who's such a big star. It really is a very, very, very strong lineup. Mahmoud has co-written Noemi's track as well. We also have the newcomers section, which includes Alex Wise and Settembre. I think that is a completely separate thing, but don't quote me on that. You know there's going to be quality everywhere you damn well look. Italy will once again surely be in it to win it. As excuse me, as for Latvia, February the 8th for the final of Supernova, possibly the strongest Latvian selection for many years. February the 1st for the semi final, February the 8th for the final. We have Marcus Riva again. We have the Ludwig, who surely is a serious contender. We have Justs, who's been at Eurovision before back in 2016. My favourite, Bel Tempo and Legstina with the water, I don't think has much of a chance. Favourite is probably Chitizeni, who were there in 2022 in Turin and didn't qualify. Their song is called Ramtai. I don't mind it. If anybody finishes above them, it will be very impressive if you ask me. It could be the Ludwig. It could be, well, actually, I think it's probably a two-horse race in all honesty, but we'll wait and see what happens next. As for Lithuania, there's lots of shows involved in Eurovision.lt. They're all pre-recorded except the final, which is going to be on February the 15th. The first heat was last night as I talk to you now. There's 8 songs in each show, apart from the final, and only the top two progress. And last night it was Anyanya who won the jury and public vote, and also Juste Barra do Linaite, which I'm surely mispronouncing. Semi-final 2 will take place next weekend, and so on with the other events. We have Villia, the 2014 representative, is involved. Some of these songs are out, absolutely. We have Queens of Roses, Petunia, Matt Len, Catharsis, 2018 representative Ieva is back, Freya Ali, and so on. Black Biceps is another one. Yes, it's quite a drawn out process, but we will find out who represents Lithuania by the middle of next month. As for Luxembourg, the songs have been out for some time in the Luxembourg Song Contest 2025. January the 25th for the final. The favourite is probably La Poupée Monte le Son by Laura Thorne, but we also have the likes of One Last Time. They were involved last time out. Rhythmic Soul Wave, zero point 0.5, and many others. As for Malta, the final of their selections on February the 8th. The songs have been out for a little while. There's going to be 2 semi-finals on February the 4th and 6th before the grand final I just mentioned. It's not that bad a lineup. The favourite is surely Lala Ratatake, Lala Ratakaboom by Cantera. That seems like a lot of fun. Very catchy stuff, easy to go along with. But we also have the likes of Christy Spiteri, co-written by Linnea Deb, and Taya from Taya and Selena, Austria 2023. You'll remember Who the Hell is Edgar? That's definitely getting quite a bit of support from Eurovision fans already. We also have The Alchemists, Victoria Shibaras, Kelsey Belante, Miriana Conte with Kant. A lot of people are enjoying that one. I'm very much on the fence with it. But there we go. That's the situation with Malta. And I do believe we have the semi final allocation for that as well. Next up is Moldova. Very soon we'll be finding out the participants and songs for their national selection, the final of which will be on February the 22nd. If it's anything like the past several years, representing Moldova in Basel will be somebody who's done Eurovision before. As for Montenegro, there was that controversy, but we now know that Nina Zizic, who was there in Malmö 2013, will be representing her country again with the song Dobrodošli. The winners of the event were actually Neo Noen, but then there was this story about them performing their winning song Clickbait previously, and so they decided to voluntarily withdraw before they were perhaps booted out anyway. And Nina Zizic, who was the runner-up, winning the jury vote, getting just 7 points from the public, she's going to this year's competition instead. It's a fine ballad. I'm not sure if it's a qualifier, but we'll wait and see. As for the Netherlands, we know that it's going to be Claude Kiambe, born in September 2003. He's from the Democratic Republic of Congo. He's released one album, which charted at number 6 in his homeland. He's released a bunch of singles. He's got a cracking voice. We don't know much about his song, but it's going to be out before too long. I think it's going to be a very soft, soulful effort. As for Norway, we find out the participants for MGP 2025 very soon. The final, it's only one show, it's going to be on February the 15th. There was a submission period, and there was also a songwriting camp or two. So there we go. The final will be once again in Oslo, although it has been in Trondheim in the recent past. As for Poland, they're having a national final. It's going to take place on February the 14th. We don't know much about the lineup yet, but we will find out fairly soon. As for Portugal, March the 8th for the final of Festival de Canção, usually one of the last national finals alongside Sweden's Melfest. February the 22nd and March the 1st for the semi-finals. We've known the songwriters for a long time now, and some of those songwriters will be singing their own songs. So we know that Capital de Bulgaria and Henke and Josh will be singing their own tracks. And we will find out those songs, what they sound like, very soon. It will be this month because I saw something about it just yesterday. As for San Marino, well, they're having audition rounds left, right, and centre. Una voce per San Marino. I don't really know too much about it. I'm not really following it, but there's going to be a lot of stuff happening between now and the final, and that will be on the same day as Festival de Canção and the Melfest final. As for Serbia, 1st of March for the final of their national selection Pesma za Eurovision 2025. 30 songs in total, 16 will be in the final. 25th of February, 27th of February for the semi-finals, March the 1st for the final. There's a lot of returning names. Bojana, who's been a junior Eurovision, she's teaming up with David again. We have the likes of Mimi Mercedes, Prince, who was the runner-up a few years ago, I believe, Vukela, Tanya Banyanin, my apologies. Those songs aren't out yet, but they will be very soon. There's also been a few disqualifications. As for Slovenia, we know the lineup, but the songs aren't out yet for the return of EMA, which will take place on February the 1st. It's probably going to be a two-horse race between July Jones, who had a all right effort a few years ago. I didn't love it, but she's such a big star. Her song is called New Religion. I'm hoping it's a great deal better this time around. She probably is the one to beat. But we also have How Much Time Do We Have Left by Clemen, who has hosted EMA before. He's a bit of a comedian. He's done lots of parody work in the past. Do not rule him out winning this event as well. We also have the likes of Jan Videc, Sven, and Astrid and the Scandals. As for Spain, the songs for Benidorm Fest 2025 have been out for some time. It all gets going on January the 28th, the second semi-finals 2 days after that, and then the finals on February the 1st. The favourite is probably La Chispa with Artita de Llorar. What a cracking voice that woman has. I certainly don't mind it now I've listened to it in full a few times. La Pena by De Teresa is very good. VIP by Jay Cabello. A lot of people are enjoying that one, but I find it a bit basic if I'm honest with you. Besame by Carla Frigo. That's also a little bit basic, but I'm enjoying that one a bit more. And we also have Essa Diva by Melody, which is my favourite as of right now. The semi-final allocation draw will surely be revealed in due course. As for Sweden, we've known the lineup of Melfest 2025 for quite some time. We also have the semi-final allocation draw. It's going to be between February the 1st and March the 8th. There has been a tinkering to the format once again. The competing entries will be released on streaming platforms on the day preceding their respective heat, rather than those that have made the final, their songs being released only then, rather than earlier on. Luleå, Gothenburg, Västerås, Malmö, Jönköping, and Stockholm are the cities in question. We have Måns Zelmerlöw, he's surely the one to beat here on name alone, but we also have Clara Hammerström, Scarlett, Tennessee Tears, John Ludwig, Ella Tiritiello with a song written by Loreen, a two-time Eurovision winner. Dolly Style are back. Arvingana are back just for a laugh. We've also got the likes of Maya Ivarsson and Lagers. A little bit of everything, really. And of course, that all gets going fairly soon. As for Switzerland, the host country, we don't really know too much yet. Ukraine, we know that they're probably going to challenge for the win again. Vidbeard is going to be on February the 8th. We have had the online wildcard lineup, and that is open from tomorrow, January the 13th, until January the 17th. It includes the likes of Jagodi, Pinka, and Ranrawi. And we do know those acts already in the final, including Zifferblatt, who were the runners-up last time out, Masha Kondratenko, Kayat, Trilata, and Molody, to name just a few. The wildcard selection, I don't know if everybody can vote in it, but it gets going fairly soon. A public online vote will be held by January the 17th to determine an additional competing act. As for the UK, I believe the BBC must have some idea who's representing us by this point, but there's been no strong rumours or anything like that. Rebecca Ferguson, I've seen, who's been at Eurovision as part of an interval before, or opening act, I can't quite remember, in Liverpool. But yeah, I've not really seen anything. I'm not really keeping my eyes glued to social media to see what's happening either. But we will find out the BBC's choice in due course. That is it. What a big long ramble from me. I wanted to keep this video under 20 minutes, but unfortunately we've gone overboard. Let me know your thoughts on anything I've discussed in today's video by leaving a comment down below. My God, I really am stumbling over my words now. Thank you very much for your support, as always, and I'll be back with another Eurovision-related video very soon. Until then, take care of yourselves, stay safe, and bye for now.